Now to a citrus-related consumer alert. Local growers warn we may be months away from industry-wide shortages and price hikes. Here's Channel 5's Frank McCaffrey with why your grocery bill could soon rise.
Norman Dudgeon says he hasn't started taking machinery out on most of his fields this year. He says this is the time of the year when he would be starting his harvest. Norman Dudgeon decided to put up a shop earlier this year to sell citrus products from his fields. Heavy rains as the year progressed seemed they could be a setback for this goal.
The month of June and the month of September has been a challenge.
He needs citrus to sell in his shop when he opens in just over a month and does not know if he will have it. He says he's hesitant to start his harvest and sees other growers delaying their harvest. Dudgeon says he's concerned this would delay his purchase of these fruits.
Even right now, there are fields that they were pumping water out of. Some of the other growers were pumping water out of their fields.
Heavy rains this summer left behind very soft grounds in these orchards. As you can see, it's very easy to sink something into them. Now, this is a danger for farming machinery. Dudgeon believes most producers are worried their expensive machinery used for harvest will get stuck in the soft ground and damaged. If this causes too much of a delay now, Dudgeon says he'll have a very stressful time keeping up with consumer demand down the road.
The biggest effect that it'll have would be that during the month of November and December, when a substantial amount of gift fruit goes out and fundraisers go out, that it compacts that period of time into a smaller, shorter period. In other words, if you only have 1 month to get out so many tractor trailer loads and it's wet and you can't get in the field, that becomes a challenge.
Channel 5 News reached out to Dale Murden, president of Texas Citrus Mutual. He says a number of citrus growers in the valley aren't starting their harvest just yet due to the wet grounds, but he says the consumer demand will be there, and early next year, if there's not enough citrus on the shelves, the consumer will be paying more. He adds he hopes the delays end soon because it could really harm the valley economy.
Obviously, if it lingered and we had a really extremely late harvest, that would be a dramatic effect. I mean, the citrus industry is almost a $500 million economic impact to the state. So it's big business. Between the fresh fruit sales and the juice sales, the citrus industry is important to the economy.
Murden adds the early market is typically the best market for a grower. He says that's because the early market tends to have the better pricing for a grower. Murden says the decision on whether or not to harvest comes from the producers and packing sheds. He adds it comes down to their decision on whether or not they can get in the fields to harvest this year. In the Channel 5 News studio, Frank McCaffrey, Channel 5 News at 5.